Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice Radio, and today we are looking at another new Tag Team GX. The weird thing is, we're still expecting to hear one more from Team Up. We know we're getting 6 in Team Up. We have had 6 revealed, but one of them was Magikarp and Wailord, which is coming in the Splash Box, i.e. not in Team Up. We're still missing one. And now we've seen one from Sun and Moon 9A. Oh, well, hang on a second. Never mind. We're expecting another one, but we've got Sylveon and Gardevoir, so we might as well have a look at this one today. And this one is breaking new ground for Tag Team GXs. It is, and stop me if I'm being really dumb, but I don't think I am, the first Tag Team GX we've seen, which is entirely evolution Pokemon. All the others have had at least one basic, not this one. Also, as a side note, Sylveon's a really popular Pokemon, and Gardevoir is a really popular Pokemon, so I think you should all prepare for this to be quite a sought-after and expensive Tag Team GX, because both of these are very popular Pokemon. Alright, with that out of the way, where do we go? Well, first of all, we're sitting there at 260 HP, which is on the slightly higher side for Tag Team GXs, but we do have 2 evolution Pokemon. Weakness to Metal is honestly fine right now. There's just not many good Metal decks around. Maybe Duskmane Necrozma? That really is about it, and even that's not really seeing much play right now, which is kind of awesome, in a way. Yeah, it depends how you fall down. I like that card. Resistance to Darkness is awesome because Zoroark remains over the top great. And it is a fairy Pokemon, which means we get a few tricks like Mina to accelerate energy, but it means you're hitting weakness on stuff like Rayquaza, for instance, which is still proving to be a very good Pokemon. But it is the attacks we are looking at here, ladies and gentlemen, and our translation comes from the lovely Tunu1223 over on Twitter. And okay, the first attack's underwhelming, but the other 2 are very nice indeed. The first attack here, for 1 colourless energy, search your deck for up to 2 fairy energy cards and attach them to your bench Pokemon in any way that you like. It's basically Xerneas' Geomancy. Except that it's actually slightly better, because Xerneas' Geomancy had to be 1 to each of 2 bench Pokemon, whereas this could be 2 to the same bench Pokemon, or 1 to each of 2. It's fine. You don't really want to put a free prize Pokemon, because remember, Tag Team GXs give up free prizes. You don't really want to leave a free prize Pokemon just sitting in the active, ready to be knocked out at a moment's notice. You really don't want that. However, it's not bad. I liken this to Eevee and Snorlax Tag Team GX. The first attack on Eevee and Snorlax is fairly underwhelming. And it accelerates energy. And it's not great. But then again, there's plenty of Tag Team GXs, like for instance Latios and Latias that we looked at yesterday, that don't even have a first attack. So in that context, it's alright. It's fine, but I'm not getting overly excited. The main attack here, however, I am getting overly excited. Fairy, colourless, 150 damage. Move as many energy attached to your Pokemon, to your other Pokemon as you like. It basically lets you rearrange all of the energy on your Pokemon when you attack. This, assuming a correct translation, which it seems to be, Tunu has not let us down much in the past, is phenomenal. Now look, 150 damage itself is on the lower end at the moment. 150 basically means that non-GXs are going down. Think your standard good non-GXs like Buzzwole and Granbull, or White Kyurem. There's a whole bunch of others. That'll do for now. They're all going down, and they're going down quite easily. But then when you look at GXs, well, you're not really getting any. But then you add a choice band and you're up to 180. So some of them are going to be going down here. Blacephalon, for instance, will go down. But something like a Buzzwole GX got 190. And sure, you can use Shrine of Punishment, but you're also a GX, that's a bad idea. And then something like Zoroark is sitting there just being like, "Mwahaha, that's miles away." Your going to be 60 damage away from KOing me. Even with a choice band, you're still 30 away. That does make me pause for thought just a little bit. The amount of damage you're doing here is not phenomenal. But this is basically Shaymin from Unleashed. I've mentioned Shaymin from Unleashed on a bunch of different videos, and it's hard to overstate quite how phenomenal this card was. You just moved all of your energy around. This moves your energy around. And the translation we have at the moment is energy, not basic energy. You just move your energy around. It's so good. And this opens up so many ridiculous plays. First of all, my Gardevoir's about to be KO'd. I attack, and then move all my energy over to my benched Pokemon so that they can come in and pick up the slack. I know, right? So then your opponent can either take the KO, but you don't lose any energy, or they don't take the KO and you get to potentially save free prizes. So that's great. But it also means you can take advantage of stuff like Naganadel. Naganadel's ability says once during your turn you may attach a basic energy from your discard pile to this Pokemon. And it's a great ability, but the problem is you need to be able to move that energy onto other Pokemon. Water decks have Quagsire. Well, this works beautifully for Fairy decks. So what you do here is you just use Naganadel to accelerate energy to itself, and then use this attack, and this is just your regular attack, and you're doing 150 damage, and you can then move that onto whatever else you like. Whatever other attackers you're rolling with, you can move them around. And you could, and it would be clunky, but you could even use non-fairy energy here. Discard it as early as you can. Let's not forget, if you want to discard energy, Shuckle. And then accelerate it with Naganadel and move it round with this. And that would actually work quite beautifully. Because Shuckle discards it easily, Naganadel gets it back easily, and this moves it fairly easily. This attack should not be slept on. Yes, the damage is a little underwhelming. You're not getting many GXs. You're certainly not getting tag team GXs other than Latios and Latias, which is weak. And you're giving up free prizes. But the fact that you can move the energy around is really over the top great. You know what else is great? The GX attack. Fairy, fairy, fairy. Now, you can see here from the picture that the damage is clearly covered. Tunu tells us it's 200 damage, and I believe that's the case. Because like I say, Tunu's been very, very reliable in the past, but I have not seen a clear picture that shows the damage. I believe it's 200. I cannot be 100% sure. But if you've got at least 3 extra fairy energy attached to it, so that's 6 fairy, shuffle your opponent's hand into their deck. You leave them with 0 cards in hand. How cool is that? Now, damage-wise, we're doing much, much better here. 200 is already enough to get a whole bunch of stuff like Lycanroc. Then with a choice band, you're up to 230, and Gardevoir GX and Zoroark GX, and all of that is going down. You're still falling short of tag team GXs, even the weaker ones like Mimikyu and Gengar, sitting there on 240, will survive a hit here, which is a slight pain, but, you know, there's plenty of other ways you can do damage. Just play something like a Latios if you're that worried. But as it stands, this is very, very cool. Now, the 6 energy is a lot. But bear in mind, the main attack can be used here. So what you can essentially do is have a damaged tag team in the active, use the attack, and build up one on the bench. And either your opponent goes after the one with 6 energy, meaning you get to keep the damaged one and maybe play an ace roller after, or they go after the active one and you keep your energy. There's many different ways to get this rolling. We'll talk about some in just a second. But you leave your opponent with 0 cards in hand. The damage is good, but you leave your opponent in top deck mode. And sure, maybe they're playing an Oranguru, or maybe they're playing a Macargo. Although, to be fair, right, Macargo, they'd have to see it coming and leave themselves with the best top deck, or else you're putting them back an extra turn. This is good. Yes, there are ways around it. Most decks at the moment are playing a card which can deal with this. Striker would be another example. And any of these would be able to get you out of it. But Striker only gets you 4 cards. Oranguru only gets you 3 cards. I mean, imagine if you catch your opponent after they use Rayquaza's GX attack to get a new hand of 10, or to fill their hand until 10. And then you drop this. That's kind of hilarious. The 6 energy does put me off, but it is manageable. Speaking of which, how is it manageable? Well, this brings me to my point I want to make. That actually, Gardevoir and Sylveon Tag Team GX goes brilliantly with Gardevoir GX or Sylveon GX. They are both really good cards that are seeing play at the moment, and this would work nicely with them. And don't forget that Gardevoir's ability allows you to attach an extra energy during your turn. Is that enough? I'm not entirely sure. Don't forget that Mina lets you attach an extra energy during your turn. So between Mina, Gardevoir and your energy attachment for the turn, you can do 3 in one turn and get set up nicely here. The 6 energy is a lot, but your main attack will help you out, as will Gardevoir, as will Mina. And if you're in the expanded format, you could use Xerneas, but remember, if you're using Xerneas, you're just leaving a free prize Pokemon on the bench, ready for your opponent to use a Guzma and bring it active, which is risky. I like Sylveon and Gardevoir Tag Team GX. I think the first attack is very meh, but given a lot of Tag Team GXs don't have free attacks, I can definitely forgive that. I think the main attack is phenomenal. The damage is a little underwhelming, but the effect means you can use stuff like Naganadel and it's awesome. And the Tag Team GX attack is very expensive. But if you can get it working, you can literally win the game because you leave your opponent in top deck mode. I mean, imagine this. Your opponent has one Oranguru out and no other consistency cards. You knock out Oranguru using this attack, and yeah, you're using a GX attack to take one prize, but then you get rid of their entire hand, and they sit there top decking while you just win the game. The other thing I do need to mention here, remember that when you use a GX attack, you have 6 energy on, but then if you use the main attack next turn, you can move all the extra energy back off. It's not like most Tag Team GXs where the extra energy is essentially stuck on there. I really like this. I'm giving it 4 Wassies because I do think there are downsides. I think the main attack is a little bit weak. I think the GX attack is a little expensive, but there is a lot to like about this. Okay then. That seems good for now. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear from you guys. How excited are you about this? Go nuts in the comment section, but please do remember the rule. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WasseyPlays for some more Wassy action. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.